Well, hello there. Today I'm going to talk to you about my specific split, and hopefully it'll shed some light on the previous five. Well, there were six, the six ones on Rumble, but episodes 1 through 5 of How to Grow should be, well, probably pretty confusing. And although I'm not going to go over a template of what an ideal training split is, I'm going to go over what my training split is because it's the one I know the best, and I just redid it recently. And a lot of it doesn't fit with exactly the principles I talked about because it might be a little too complex, and I might need to streamline it again, but I just streamlined it. So we'll see. But first, the shenanigans must be done. Like, subscribe, and share the shit out of this. Spread it like herpes. Speaking of herpes, I'm a medical doctor. If you want me to be your doctor, click the link in the description box. Click the consult option, which is the top option. I can order you blood work. I can read your blood work. I can treat you as a normal HRT clinic would treat you. I also do coaching. My Apex Coaching is the business that Dr. Karina Dodson and I co-own, that we will do your nutrition, your training programming. I will handle all your medical stuff. It's the only place where you can get medical care and coaching in one place, and you have two doctors. It's the best deal in town. You can't beat it. And right now we have it set up so that there's financing options. So you only have to make monthly payments. You will love it. Get started immediately. Now, on with the show. You're watching Dr. Todd Lee TV, where theoretically you could learn a bunch of cool shit. Warning! This is for entertainment purposes only. Do not take this seriously. This is not medical advice. Although I'm a doctor, I'm not your doctor yet. If you want me to be your doctor, click the link in the description box. But otherwise, this is just for fun, kids. Don't do this at home. Okay, so I'm going to change this view and make it a little bit less horrible. Let's see if I can pull this off. Grandpa Smurf is doing his best. All right, now you'll notice I'm in the bottom corner. I'm going to get rid of me so you can actually see what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, boom. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to jump into the actual program. All right, so hopefully you can see this. I don't know how to make it bigger. That's not what she said, but all right. So I can try to zoom it. Maybe I can zoom it. Where is the zoom? This is the view. Let's go zoom in. Oh man, this is all I can do. You're like, why are you using this ghetto ass program? It's like, well, I tried it like 11 different ways to do it the way I want to do it. Nothing works as good as Google operating systems. Microsoft sucks ass, but this is a Windows computer or whatever the fuck, a PC. They suck ass. The Google Chromebook's amazing, but it doesn't have a hard drive. Why is this not letting me scroll up and down? There you go. Structure. Here we go. So we're going to start with the structure. You're like, what? Yes, I have themes and titles to my stuff. So structure. This is the split itself. I call it a structure, not a split. So what you have here is one microcycle. Multiple microcycles make up a mesocycle. Multiple mesocycles make up a block. Multiple blocks make up a macrocycle. A microcycle is the period between shows, which is usually a calendar year. Usually a mesocycle is a month. Usually a block is a season, so 3 mesocycles. And usually a microcycle is a 7-day week. I don't have a real job. I have this. So I don't have a 7-day week. I don't believe in weeks. I don't think in weeks. I think in microcycles. So this is my microcycle. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days long. So every microcycle, as you can see, is interspersed with a off day, making 3 distinct nanocycles. Yes, I made that shit up. It's a nanocycle. I don't know what a picocycle would be. I guess a training day is a picocycle, but we won't go there. All right, so pull 1 is back and calves. Then arms. doesn't have a number. Triceps first. This should be a P. Middle delts, biceps, and chest. Chest has an asterisk next to it. Why is there an asterisk next to chest? It's because it's hit with the triceps. This is the day that I'm doing my compound tricep, my dip movement. This will also hit my chest. Legs 1 is quads, hams, adductors, abs. All right, off. Push 2 is middle and front delts. So delts have priority, then chest, then tris. And then you're like quad, it'll make sense in a little bit. Calves and abs. Basically, I'm putting my leg extensions in here because in theory, they'll be recovered from this work here. If I do my volume just right, this is my belt squat day. My belt squat day will keep me sore here and then not here. So I'll be able to hit my quads. And I'll do 2 or 3 sets of leg extensions, and then boom, we'll be back onto buys, hams, back, and quads. All right. Now, the next day, pull 2 has back, traps, buys, rear delts, hams. All right. Now, then it's an off day. Then it's buys, hams, back, quads, adds, adductors. Now, the back is really an asterisk because it's being hit with the deadlifts. The deadlifts that are here on hams have a back component. Also, if I was smart, and I'm not, but if I was smart, I would do underhanded pull-ups for biceps, which will hit back also, and then as you see, again, push 1 is chest, rear and middle delts, tris, and calves and abs. So I want to point out what this means. Each nanocycle hits the whole body once. And in theory, you should be ready again to hit the whole body again. And in theory, ready again to hit the whole body again. So that the entire body is hit 3 times in this 10-day nanocycle, microcycle. So each nanocycle is kind of like a total body workout, but it's spread out over multiple days. Every nanocycle includes the calves. Here's calves here. Then here's calves here. 1, 2, 3, 4 days later. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 days later for calves. Then it's 2 days for calves. Not optimal. It is what it is. Now, this nanocycle, the very first thing is back. This nanocycle, the very first thing is middle delts. This nanocycle, the very first thing is biceps. But basically, we're starting 1 nanocycle with a pull day, 1 nanocycle with a push day, 1 nanocycle with a legs day. So this is an evenly split program. Of the 3 times you hit push, we've got really arms is push 3, quite frankly. If we go with push 1, it starts with chest. Push 2, it starts with delts. And push 3, which is arms, it starts with triceps. So then otherwise, if you're doing push, chest, delts, tris 3 times, then you're prioritizing chest 3 of the times. Delts are in secondary position 3 of the times. And your triceps aren't given very much attention. They're at the end of the workout 3 of the times. This obviates that it allows chest to be incorporated with triceps because the only tricep compound is the dip machine. In theory, if I was going to stick with this, it would be back, which this is a underhanded pull-up. It's an overhanded pull-up, then underhanded pull-up day. And then this back day is Nautilus underhand pull-down. I mean, it's a Panada underhand pull-down, Panada overhand pull-down. So it's lat vertical pull, vertical pull. And then in theory, because there's back on this, it's just deadlifts, it should be an underhanded pull-up right here. I should have put underhanded pull-up here and not the biceps that I do here. That doesn't mean I won't change it. It means I could change it. But if I made it underhanded pull-ups for my biceps movement, it was underhanded biceps and stiff leg deadlifts, along with the hamstrings and the leg press, that would allow this nanocycle to have enough. Now, here's the deal. The SLDLs I have here, 2 sets was fucking up my back hard. So I had to back it down to 1 set. Today was leg day. I just reincorporated the second set again. So in theory, if and when my lats aren't getting sore just from SLDLs on this day, if there's for whatever reason I can't work my way up to 5 sets of SLDLs and my back still isn't sore, then this biceps could be an underhanded pull down to make sure that the back is sore at least one day. Remember, the muscles grow for about 3 days, but you don't want to be sore for all 3 days. So you want to hit each muscle every 3 days or sooner if it's not sore anymore. But with this programming, it only allows to hit every muscle every 3 days. Quads are hit first on this legs one, which isn't true. I actually have, I don't know why I wrote it like this. It's quad dominant because this is my belt squat, and then the hams is just seated leg curls. But the seated leg curls actually come first. And I would type that out if I gave a shit. And then over here on this leg day, I've got hams. It starts with lying leg curls, then it's straight leg deadlifts, and then it's leg press. And then what I had done is, because I was getting super sore legs after each leg day, after leg one, and super sore hamstrings after legs two, my thought was to split it up, move things around a little bit, and take the 2 highest SFR and highest RSM movements, the belt squat and the leg press, and split them up. This was originally single leg press and leg extension. And this was the belt squat and the leg press. So I took the leg press away, moved it over here, dropped the single leg press entirely because it was just a lot of joint issues. And after 20 something weeks, I'd been doing this programming before I changed it. I originally got the programming from Luke Miller, and I've just recently changed it because I took out some of the lower SFR stuff and put in higher SFR stuff, or split the high SFR quad movements up. And then that basically, I had to take out leg extensions. I could have stuck leg extensions like 1 or 2 sets at the end of each of these, but I decided, you know what? I'm going to reduce the volume, go from 2 sets of belt squats to 3 sets of belt squats here, move the leg press over here, go from 3 sets to 4 sets of leg press, drop the single leg press, and move the leg extension over here. And it worked perfect. It worked perfect. I got a better SFR. I got better pump. I recovered faster from the belt squat. So I had a better, and then I was healed just in time to do leg extensions, did 2 sets of leg extensions. And then because I wanted to make sure I wouldn't be sore for this day, and that was underdoing it. I really could have done probably 4 sets of belt squat, and I could have done 3 sets of leg extensions, which is what I'll do next week. And then I did 4 sets today of the leg press, which is 1 more than before, but the total volume was reduced from 11 sets down to 3, 5 plus 4, 9 sets. So the next week, I'm going to probably be adding a set to each one of these, and I'll be up to 12 sets. And I'll probably just be healed in time for the next thing without decreasing performance. With the hamstrings, the original plan was to do leg curls, hams right here on this day, but my hamstrings were still super sore from the 4 sets before that. So I put instead of going just seated leg curl, lying leg curl, straight leg deadlift, I did seated leg curl. I wasn't healed in time for this, so I kept my lying leg curls before my straight leg deadlift, but I still increased the set. I still went up to 2 sets of straight leg deadlift, and it was murder. I got half the reps on the second set that I got the first set, and I didn't take the first set to failure. I'm going to do a presentation. Episode 7 is going to be reps in reserve or training to failure, and I'm going to film that today, and then I'll release it in a couple days. This will be released tonight at midnight, and then the other one will be released probably tomorrow or the day after. I'm probably going to intersperse that with one of the pre-recorded episodes of what was it? Drugs and Deathcore. All right, so I'm going to go over this one more time because I know it's confusing. Let's start from the shitty stuff that doesn't matter, right? Abs are hit every nanocycle. Abs at the end. Calves are hit every nanocycle. Calves. They're at the back end of the workout because they are strong points for me. That triceps are hit once to start. Biceps are hit once to start. Middle delts are hit once to start. Chest is hit once to start. Lats are hit twice. and hamstrings are first twice because, well, I mean, technically buys are before hamstrings, but it doesn't subtract. My weak points that we were going to bring up this block, and in fact, this whole off season, is back, specifically lats and hamstrings. So that's why it doesn't do, that's why I don't have upper back and then one day and lats the other day. And that's why I wanted to make sure to put maybe an underhand pull up over here. But it's hard to prioritize lats all 3 days because you're running out of lat movements, especially when I've burnt out the SFR and the 2 lat movements I was using previously. This is going to be my first time doing the assisted pull-ups first in this block, although that was always my favorite way to do it. That counterintuitively, doing the underhanded pull-ups first and then the overhanded pull-ups second does not result in the best lat pump for me. What results in the best lat pump for me is doing assisted underhands like this. Keep in mind, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this, bringing the elbow towards where the lat is. So I do the overhand assisted pull-ups lat style, not upper back style, which is this. I'm not doing this shit, upper back style. I'm doing lat style. And so I do the lat style assisted pull-ups overhand, then I switch to underhand and I can really get it. And keep in mind, it's really semi-supinated. It's not fully supinated because my hands don't fully supinate, as I discussed in the arm video. Likewise, I don't wrap my thumb for the assisted. I go false grip. So this is better for lats. This is better for rear delts when you're doing your assisted pull-ups. So that's the split. It's confusing, I know. But if you really look at it, it makes a lot of sense. Now, there's some notes I have here that'll make things a little bit better. So, 7 and 10 means out of 10 days, 7 are training days, which are 3 are off days. So as far as food goes, it goes high, high, low, high, high, low. So back is hit 3rd time with SLDLs in Nano 3. Chest is hit 3rd time with dips in Nano 1, as I mentioned. Double asterisk is our rear delts are actually hit hard on pull 1 without isolation. Same with upper traps on each delt set, and row front delts are hit on every press set. That's why if you notice here, and you're like, what is that shenanigans? That's my volume meter. All right, so right here, I start with middle and front delts. The front delt is a vertical press, and we're going to get into the specifics later. But to put it bluntly, on the tricep day, I'm starting with a dip. On the push day, I'm doing middle delts first, then vertical press, because I consider vertical press a front delt exercise, not an upper chest or tricep exercise, although they are all 3. And then right here, push 1 starts with an incline hammer strength press, which still hits front delts and triceps, because I do every press close grip. You're like, oh, that's how I bias my triceps, even on the delt dominant push day and the chest dominant delt push day, is that every press is a close grip. Like that guy who was talking shit playfully said he's like, okay, got it. Every day's arm day. It's like, yes, when you have shit arms, when your arms are your weak point, every day is arm day. If they're recovered, you hit them. All right, so here. Now, I didn't rank my volumes, but I should have. That would have been an intelligent thing to do. So here, calves 3 times a week, bis 3 times a week, tris 3 times a week, middle delts 3 times a week. And by week, I meant microcycle. I'm sorry, I'm confusing. I interchange those words. Back 3 times with an asterisk. Chest 3 times with an asterisk, meaning that because the back is hit with the SLDLs and because the chest is hit with the dips, it makes it a 3rd time, even though technically SLDLs is a hamstring workout exercise and is part of the hamstring volume. And the chest volume on the 3rd day is actually dips, which is part of the tricep. And I use a machine dip. I use the hoist machine dip. I don't do free weight dips. That doesn't work for me anymore. Trans V means transverse abdominalis. It doesn't mean something politically incorrect. And rectus abdominis, abs. 15 sets because I train them differently. Hams 3 times a week, quads 3 times a week, Adductors are hit twice a week. Rear delts are hit twice, but they're hit heavily with all rows. Front delts are hit one time, but they're hit heavily with all presses. And then traps are hit one time, but they're hit heavily on all back exercises. So SLDLs still hit traps. So really these are actually isolated in theory. The front delt is isolated with a vertical press, but I've isolated the rear delts twice, but they're getting hit all 3 times. So that's why these additional sets don't look that high, right? And then the adductors, I'm not gonna, that's plenty. All right, so let's go from the top. 24 sets for back, plus the SLDL sets. That's part of how I'm prioritizing that motherfucker. Biceps is 18 sets because they can recover and they suck. But triceps is 15. The abs are hit 15 times. Middle delts are only hit 12 times, but they're put first at least once. Calves are hit 12 sets because my calves are my best body part. They take a lot to grow. They're at the deprioritized part at the end of the workout. But what's the point of hitting them if you're not going to hit them with enough volume to actually dent them? The hamstrings, this is actually up to 11 sets right now. That's falls because it was 4 plus 4 plus 2. Oh, no, that's 10. What am I talking about? And then quads, I'm planning on getting up to 12 sets this week. But this first week, I went down to 9 sets because I want to make sure there was no overlapping soreness. Because I wanted to make sure that the exercises I chose, I could get a pump easily. Adductors is 6 sets. And then we talked about this. So this is the volume breakdown. And that's a lot of back. We got to remember, back isn't one thing. Back is lats. It's lower lats, upper lats, rhomboids, lower traps, middle traps, upper traps, and rear delts. That's back. And then on top of that, I'm isolating traps with Kelso shrugs one day, and I'm isolating rear delts with additional shit. And I'm also hitting everything except for rear delts on the back, including the lower back with the SLDLs. Third day. All right. What could I do differently? Fuck it. There's a whole lot of ways to reprogram this. But so far, my systemic fatigue isn't totaled the fuck out. Let's see what the total volume is. Let's put that in here. I usually shit the bed around 180 sets per week. All right, so it's 12, 30, 45, 57, 81, 81, 96, 96 plus 111, 121, 123, no, 133, 139, 145 plus 6, 151 sets. So it's enough. I can handle that. I can handle 151 sets in 10 days. That's only equivalent to like 15 sets a day. All right. I really shit the bed around 200. So we've got room to push it, but usually by the time I get to these workouts, I'm fucked. Except for arm day. Arm day is like a happy day. Arm day is like the blowjob and ice cream day. All right, so legs 1 starts with seated leg curl, 4 sets, Panada belt squat, it's programmed for 4 sets, adductors 3 sets, hanging leg raises, 3 sets, inverted plank. You're like, what the fuck's an inverted plank? It's something Luke told me about. It's rather than doing a plank, you basically lock your ankles in and sit on the reverse hyper upside down, and you just stick your whole body out into space, and you have to use your transverse. You got to basically do a vacuum. Oh man, fuck. You do a vacuum trying to hold yourself in the air and use your transverse abdominis to support your body weight. And you have a timer and you try to count and get more seconds than last time. So I got 55 was my limit. And it was starting to really hurt my hip flexor, my iliopsoas on the right side. Okay, let me try a different way of doing this. All right. This will drop the leg press from this workout, move it to legs 2. Correct. Now, I didn't put these in order because the structure of the Microcycle is lower. When I write the program, I program the whole. I go legs 1, legs 2, legs 3, or legs 1, legs 2, and then I do pull 1, pull 2, then I do push 1, push 2. Then I cut and paste it on the spreadsheet so that it's in the structured order for the person. And then I usually put another tab so they have their logbook, and I copy and paste most of that to that logbook so that they have a launch point to use. It takes me about 3 to 4 hours to do one of these programs for someone. Why they're part of the coaching package is because it ends up being $400 or $500 just to get the program. That's why the coaching package is actually a steal, because Karina spends like at least 3 or 4 hours doing someone's diet, because she uses their blood work to calculate out what their diet and their micronutrients are to heal all their medical problems, all their chronic medical problems like blood pressure, cholesterol, all that. She does that all with just food and some natural supplements. We don't have to use medication. Although I will prescribe medication for people if the diet fails to work. The diet has never failed to work. All right. Legs 2, dumbbell curls 3 sets, dumbbell hammer curls 3 sets. I probably will drop those for underhanded pull-ups next mesocycle, because by then I'll have figured out exactly how much SLDL volume I can tolerate, and I'll make them more efficient, and I'll probably rotate back in a different exercise for the first lat focus pull on pull 1. But right now, this is what it is. All right, so right here, this LDL 2 sets, I plug back in today the lying leg curl 4 sets. I had a fucking sweet pump. I might even go up to 5 sets next week. All right, Panada leg press, that was 4 sets. That can go up to 5 sets next week. Adductors 2 sets. I already moved this up to 3 sets this week, so we don't need to deal with it. Yeah, let's just forget this shit. I've already disproven this today. There's no way I'd recover from legs 1 before legs 2. All right, pull 1. This is pull up 6 sets. 3 prone, 3 supine. This is prone, this is supine. I write it that way, 100% lats. All right, hammer, high to low, rhomboid focused. That's the hammer strength pull like this. I really get my rhomboids good with that. It's my favorite rhomboid movement. You're like, you target rhomboid specifically? Yes. What I do is I pretend like I'm going to do a rear lat spread. I bring my arms up. I do like a Ninja Turtle thing with my back. And I spread my scapula and keep my head back. If I do this, it hurts my trap. If I keep it like here, and then I can pull my scapula together with my chest and lungs inflated. So if I don't do it that way, it will not be rhomboids. That's how I activate my rhomboids, is by blowing up the air and stretching the rhomboids out as much as possible, moving my scapula out, and then contracting my scapula together. And my elbows are just along for the ride. I don't care about the range of motion here, this part of it, that's rear delts. This is not for rear delts. This is for rhomboids. That's it. I don't fuck with extra range of motion because I've got a whole rear delt protocol. I don't need to fuck with rear delts. Even my straight arm, one arm lat pull down, which I'm going to put in the stories and I'm going to put in my reels on Instagram. I'm also going to put it on the shorts on YouTube. It shows the way I rotate my arm over and then bring it down. I actually get a rear delt and middle delt pump and a lat pump. That's not this day though, but it is on pull 2 when I actually isolate my rear delts. Single arm, straight arm, pull down, Luke style. Oh, I do that on pull 1 right here, Luke style. And this thing right here hits my rear delts great. It's my middle delts great, and it also hits my lats. And when I keep saying Luke, it's Luke Miller, No Switch Fitness on Instagram, and it's No Switch Fitness is his channel on YouTube. And Nick Loff also does these. I kind of do a combination style between the way Nick does it. Nick does it kind of across the body, and he sticks his butt out. And I also rotate my feet the opposite direction of my arm. And then I also lean into it by bending my knees. It looks extremely awkward. It's kind of embarrassing. It looks so bad when I do it. And then I had to move the calves to this day. Okay, complete overhaul, drops the Cybex DY row, drags up the assisted pull-ups, moves biceps to arm day, adds calves to this nano. That was the changes made. All right, now pull 2, Nada pull down 6 sets, 3 supine, 3 prone. Remember, the other one was 3 prone, 3 supine. This one's 3 supine, 3 prone. Now, I tried it 3 prone, 3 supine, and I was able to use the same weight and get the same reps for all 6 sets. I went like, because this is harder than this. So I used like 90 and got 12, 12, and then I failed on the third set. Then I switched to this, got 12, 12, and failed on the third set. So it's weird. It was like 2 plates aside, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12 in the logbook. It looks really nice on paper, but I didn't really get the same type of lat pump. When I do it the other way, if you do prone first, it's an upper back movement with a little bit of lat involvement. Then when you hit your lats, you hit your lats real good. But then you're moving on to this, which I actually changed from a hammer strength high to low machine to the Panada T-bar. It's a really nice chest supported machine, and I hit it better. It's not that there's something wrong with the hammer strength low to high. It's just I've been doing it for a year straight, and it's gotten stale. It hurts my joints too much at this point. I'm too strong on it for my structure. This is kind of a different way of hitting it. It's a little bit more specific for what I'm trying to do because you can control how high the pad is. So your body torso bends like this. So this is my hips. These are my legs. I'm sorry. This is my hips. These are my legs. This is my upper body. And this is the pad. If it's low, then it's going to hit right here. If it's high, it's going to hit right here. So I can, depending on where I put the T-bar pad on the Panada, is what part of my traps I can hit. If I'm going to hit my lower traps, middle traps, or upper traps. Because I don't need to hit my rhomboids. I hit my rhomboids isolation on, well, it's not really an isolation. It's a combination that I make into an isolation on pull 1. So pull 2 is traps focused. Then I finish the set out with Kelso shrugs. John Jewett talks about these a lot. It's basically after you finish rowing and you can't row anymore, you just do shrugs to finish it out. And it's really good at those. The hammer strength, it's so heavy at the bottom that you can't hold the grip very long. The set's too long to hold it. And so you end up aborting the Kelso shrug component of the set based off of grip strength. Whereas with the Panada, I don't have to abort the set because of that. I'm able to get all my Kelso shrugs in with the Panada. So anyway, what I was trying to say is that if you go prone, supine, and then this is traps upper back, it's not the same as if I just pump the lats up. Then when you do the prone grip and pull downs, because the lats already have a pump, you're able to grab with your lats and make it a lat focused pull down rather than upper back rear delt focused pull down. This was getting a lot of rear delts and biceps when I did it first. Now, when I do it the other direction, I have to go higher with the weight here and then lower with the weight here, like 115 and then 70 rather than 90 and 90. But fuck it. I'll just switch the plates around to get the right amount of reps because it hits the lats dominantly. And then it goes from lats and upper back, then upper back. So it's a nice transition if this is my back, like this, to where the blood gets focused rather than hopping around and shit. I don't like hopping around with it. I'm a very pump focused, feel focused lifter. I'm yes, mechanical tension drives hypertrophy, but I am not the guy that prioritizes that shit. Are we still recording? Good. We're 34 fucking minutes into this. Oh my God. You guys are troopers. All right. So I've got all that shit out of the way. Then we do the straight arm Luke style pull downs. And it's one arm at a time across the body. It really hits. And I push my hips away, pull my hips in, push my hips away, pull my hips in, kind of like a hoist machine. And I'm able to really get the whole lat. I'm able to get my rear delts and my upper and my middle delts. Cable curls. I use these cables that have these really fat grips. They're like Kaz handles, but they were like $10 instead of $150. And I just do 10 facing. I'm sorry, I do 3 sets facing and then 3 sets facing away. Watch the arms video, it makes more sense. Again, I like these. These are great because I'm already there doing the cables. So all I gotta do is bring my wrist cuff for the pull downs and my Kaz handles, which they're knockoff handles. They're not Kaz. They're not Kaz handles. But the point is I get to use the two of those things down and then curl. I don't have to change stations because that gym, it's a bunch of the cable jungle gym area is super busy. So once you get a cable station, you have to keep it. So I'm not going to want to jump around a lot. That's why it's programmed that way. It's not optimized on paper, but when you think about when you're actually going to a specific gym, it's what's at that gym and the gym culture and the time of day you go might influence or change what you do. Like you can't superset shit on opposite sides of a crowded gym. You can't, if you're going to superset something, you got to do it at the same station. So you got a program like that. It may not be perfect on paper, but it's what works at that gym at that time of day with that culture. All right, reverse pec deck. I finished with that. Would that have been smarter right here? Yeah, it would have been. But then I would have had to stand in line to get cables a second time. Then I'm not going to do that. Plus, biceps are more important than rear delts on me because I have bigger rear delts than I have biceps. So on paper, yes. If we were transitioning from lower lat to upper lat to traps to rear delts would then fit, lats and rear delts to rear delts. Then we would jump to biceps, but that doesn't work at that gym because of what's funny is these leg extensions are closer to the rear delt machine than the rear delt machine is to this thing. Anyway, so I then finished with the leg extensions. I'm using the hammer strength single leg extension. It's better than what I was doing before, which is the hoist for the single legs because it was hurting my knee. What's funny is by using the equipment designed for single leg, not doing single leg on equipment designed for double leg, it hurts my knee less. Why it took me 30 years to figure that out, I don't fucking know. The leg curl, I'm taking that out because the leg curls are not healed in time. And if they did heal in time, I should have just added a set to the other day. All right, now push 1. Hammer strength incline press, 3 sets. Hoist flat press, 3 sets. Or hammer strength decline press. I haven't switched to the decline press yet because the hoist is kind of getting stale. But what I do with the hoist is I usually go higher with the seat than you should. And I sit further on the seat. So if this is the back and this is the seat, technically the engineers designed you to sit here. I sit like this, which creates a downward angle for the push, especially because I raised the seat up. So I'm doing this rather than this, which is what they intended. So I turned it into a decline press. Then this pec deck, got to have something to work the middle, right? Reverse pec deck, because I'm there anyway, I'm going to hit rear delts. It doesn't mean it fits this day, but I'm right fucking there. And then I go to the lateral machine. I use the hoist lateral machine. I have been doing it one arm at a time, but I recently did the Life Fitness lateral machine 2 arms at a time, and it actually worked better for me than the one arm because with the one arm, you can lift this arm off and take the tension off this so that this gets heavier at the bottom and get the stretch better. But I find that what I'm doing is I'm using my core to go through the full range of motion. Whereas if you just do both at the same time on the hoist, it actually rocks you forward like this. The hoist rocks you forward. So it actually is simulating this effect because when you finally end, you're here. So that leaning over, I was talking about for middle delts to avoid your acromion and supraspinatus pinching, the impingement of the supraspinatus between the glenohumeral head and the acromion process, this avoids it. The hoist takes care of that for you. The way that the Life Fitness does is there's a chest pad, but the chest pad's at an angle. So if you put your chest up against the chest pad flat, you're actually at the angle to really hit this. So yes, you can get more tension at the stretch position if you use it one arm at a time. But then I also find that I get more impingement. I just heard a click right there. Like, motherfuck. I'm not going to lean forward with every rep. But if I do both and the machine's actually moving my butt for me, it kind of takes care of it. So I haven't fully decided how I'm going to approach the hoist, but I've already decided for the Life Fitness one that I do on push 2 because the panada is broken. I'm going to use both arms at the same time. Vulcan 2 sets, 2 up, 2 down. Why is it up then down? Because I found that I get such a good pump with the down because I do 3 down with the Vulcan, then I do 3 in front of me with the Vulcan, then I push down with the Vulcan. So I've got a regression tricep. I have such an amazing pump that when I turn around and try to do the overhead with the Vulcan, like I have in that video that's on my arm day, I don't get a pump anymore. So if I do it first, I get a sweet pump from this. And then I go to the down, I'm using slightly less weight, but I get the same pump I ever would have. So instead of having a pump and then losing it, I'm getting a pump and then getting a better pump. So although it doesn't work, you're supposed to do the contracted position, then the stretch position. That's the theory, the science. It doesn't work for triceps, in my opinion, in that particular thing, because I don't want to bring multiple pieces of equipment, because in theory, you're supposed to just do one exercise, but you could do one exercise 2 different ways. So basically, just like I'll do 6 sets of cable curls, 3 facing, 3 facing away, same equipment, but I've just done 2 exercises with those 6 sets. The Panada, 3 like this, 3 like this, 6 sets, 3, but 2 different exercises with that piece of equipment. Pull-ups, 3 like this, 3 like this. It's ironic that this and then this works with pull-ups poorly, but this and then this works with the Panada well. And this like this works with the pull-ups well, but this then this works like with Panada poorly. You have to try these out. And this is just for me. It may not work like that for you, but that's the level of specificity I put into this stuff. And if I get good feedback, this is stuff that I do for your programs too. All right, ball crunch, really hard to explain what that is. I mean, you're like, okay, I do a crunch on a ball. Yeah, you do, but I use my adductors and I grab a support pillar with my knees, and I'm able to reach all the way back with my upper body and hit my head. So I'm able to do like an inverted crunch with the ball because I've stabilized my body by pinching the pillar together with my adductors. And you're like, wait a minute, doesn't that mean you hit adductors 3 times a week? In fact, it does. That is exactly what it means. So inverted plank, do that again too. Don't worry, we're almost done. Don't get shit for being done, but we're almost done. Not a middle delt machine. It's broken, so I had to use the Life Fitness this week. Some motherfucker broke it. Kids. All right, it's really nice. And then the Hammer Strength shoulder press machine. That's just a vertical pin loaded one. I like it. Incline dumbbell press. That's probably my favorite thing for upper chest is the incline dumbbell press. I get such good results with that. What I do is, because you can change it, I start at the bottom here, and then I come in like this. And that way I'm able to get like this. Actually, it starts like this, and then the tension goes to here. So I'm able to control which fibers I'm getting. And I don't want to get this one because I've already knocked that out with the vertical press. And my vertical press is like this. It's not out here like this, although it should be. This should be how I'm pressing to get my anterior delt. But I start like this. And then when I drop the weight to do back offsets, I go like this. Got to protect those shoulders. All right. Cable crossover. That one's a neat one. They've got a back support with the handles right there. So it's not like you're using your body weight and flopping all over the place. It's a back supported cable crossover. The only way to do cable crossovers is with a back support. If you have to, wheel a chair up to a free motion machine and do them. But that's a fucking nightmare to set that up. Because if you're off 10 degrees here or there, or you're rotated a little bit, you're going to fuck your joints up. All right. Tricep press down. I have one of those saw bars where it's got multiple holes, and I pick the holes that line up with my shoulders perfectly. And then I take my CAS handles because they're nice and thick, and I'm able to push down. So my elbow comes away from me, and I push down and back. And then once I start to fail there, then I do traditional push downs like this. So my chest explodes at that point. It's a tricep movement. When the triceps are fucked and I start recruiting the chest to help, the chest is like all over that bitch. It's like, yeah. All right, GM press. A lot of GM presses go like this. I find that gets a lot of anterior delt and a lot of shoulder, especially if you're using anterior delt and a lot of chest, especially if you're using 2 arms. So I turn my body away and angle it, and then I pop my elbow up and I do that. And that hits my tricep because what I'm trying to do is drive my elbow as far away from the line of force as possible. So to rotate. So this is the line of force. I want to push it away. Oh, you can't see me right now, can you? You've been able to see me this whole time because I turned off the camera. God, I feel like an asshole. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. Whoa, did I fuck that up? Whoa. Okay, so let's go through from the top. Rows, calcio shrugs. All right. That's one. This is how I do lat pull downs for lats. Not this. That's for rear delts. That's two. This is how I do the single arm pull down. That's three. This is how I do press downs because the handle's spread apart. Because it's not like a bar press down that has to come in front of you. It comes, the bar is a bar, a crossbar like this at a shoulder width, crossbar shoulder width, the handles. So when I push it, it goes like this. And then from the side, it looks like this. And then when I fail, I push towards me the traditional way. It really lights up the chest. Oh, what else did I fuck up explaining you? So pronated pull downs versus supinated. Wow, I mean, half this video is wasted. Oh, well. All this stuff is stuff that I've covered with the other stuff. Yeah, so this, then this works really good with the Panada, but this, then this works with the unassisted. And that's just in me, but I had to experiment with that to figure that out. Oh, the dumbbell press. So I don't do dumbbell presses the way everyone else does it, like this. I start down here like this. So if this is the line of force, this is the origin, this is the insertion. Then, and I twist, I change which fibers I'm activating. It works really well. If you turn it too much, you're going to get a lot of anterior delt. But the anterior delt was knocked out already, so this is pretty much what I'm feeling. This is what people teach you to do, but I find this works better. It's kind of like throwing a punch. I know it's like silly. You're like, you don't know how to fight, bitch. She's like, you'd be surprised. All right, so jam press. Rather than this, traditional jam presses, I turn it out to the side so that I can create the greatest distance between the cable and the movement arm. So if I just let my arm do what it wants, it does this. But I'm actively pushing my elbow away from the line of force. Kind of like when you do squats, you push your knees as far away from the line of force as possible to get as much quads as possible. Because triceps are like baby quads. And one day my triceps will be as big as a woman's quad. A very short woman, but a woman nonetheless. And then leg extensions on this day, and then donkey calves. It doesn't make any sense. Why is leg extensions on this day? Is that right? No, I did the leg extensions on pull 2, not on push 2. All right, well, I'm going to leave that there because I don't care. Nautilus crunch machine is just a good crunch machine. It goes like this. I mean, that's what a crunch machine does. And inverted planks, donkey calves. Arm day. You're like exhausted at this point. Single arm cable push down, then dip machine. I want to warm up my elbows with the single arm cable press down, just like in the arm video. Dip machine, again, trying to keep my elbow as far away from my hand as possible to create that moment arm, just like a jam press. And a Vulcan up, because I really like the Vulcan up. And I'm only getting like 4 sets up this week, so split up. Could this be simpler? Yes. Could I be doing 2, maybe 1 exercise for arms, for biceps and triceps on this? Yes. I could probably just be doing just 6 sets of dip machine right here. I don't need to really do these yet. What I'll probably do is add sets of dip machine and take away the other sets over time. But this right now gives me a 5 out of 5 pump. It's skin tearing pump, and I'm making progress in all 3 movements. So I don't want to fuck with it yet, but I wouldn't program this for someone else. It's too confusing. Plus, you got to change stations 3 times, whereas cable laterals is relatively simple. It's bent over cable. I have a video for that in the arm video. I know it belongs on shoulders, but that's what happened. I'm sorry. And then the hammer high preacher is like this. I demonstrate that in the arm video. And then the cable facing away seated curls. There's a back, the chair back, and the cable, just like how there's the cable crossover. This is actually the same machine does both. It's cable crossover. And then there's lower handles, and you can either do vertical, low to high crossovers, or I just do it for bicep curls. And it's the only thing that lines up perfect with your arms, allowing you to do both at the same time, is when the cables are bilaterally on the floor, and then there's a back of the chair. So you can really do it. It's probably my absolute favorite bicep movement. So as you can see, I only have 3 quad movements I like. I only have 2 hamstring movements I like, but I've got 7 or 8 bicep movements I like, and I have 6 or 7 tricep movements I like, because I love training arms, and I don't hate training legs. It's just it seems simpler to me to train legs. You find the thing that you feel the most and gives you the most pump with the least amount of fatigue or joint pain, and that's what you do. And that's what my arm video made it sound like. Is after even though I have a theory and a system of how to program arms to make them very efficient, there's still things that I feel so many good exercises for them and I've made so many things stale that I have to rotate in some other stuff. But Vulcan up is my favorite vertical. Tricep single arm down is my favorite, and either the double arm press down or the dip. So really, that's 4 movements. I don't really need the rest. I could streamline this shit. Same thing with biceps. The Vulcan down actually get a better pump than the single arm. So I've got 3 down movements that are all super high SFRs. And so since I'm hitting them 3 times a week, I don't want to hit Vulcans 3 times a week. That's how you get it stale. Vertical Vulcan, I only do 2 sets twice a week. The dip machine, I only do once. Really, I could split it up and do Vulcan down one day. You wouldn't get 6 sets out of it though, but you could do 3 sets of a down, and then either 3 sets of an up or 3 sets of a dip. That would probably be the right way to do it. Make it simpler. So that might be, and just like I said before, that rather than having dumbbells before the hamstring day that has deadlifts, I could just probably do underhanded pull-ups and do at least 3 sets, if not 6 sets of underhanded pull-ups that day. All right. And then after the preaching up, I've basically settled it. So this arm day is my favorite day. So this was a long ass video. It was supposed to be 10 minutes, and it's 53 fucking minutes me explaining my split. And you're like, if it takes me this long to plan it, explain it, how long does it take me to make it? And it takes a really long time, especially when you put it into a spreadsheet. And then you also put the logbook. And if I was more techno wizardy, I'd show you my logbook. I mean, I could probably figure it out. Hold on. Let me take this down for a second and see if I can show you my logbook. All right, how do I back out of this bitch? My drive, here it is. Is this the right logbook? Yep, here it is. Okay. I'm smarter than I thought. Mother bitches. Oh, and I'm sharing the wrong thing. Hold on. Oh, stop sharing that. Let's go over here. Let's start sharing shit. Sharing shit. Here it is. Share this. I'm learning. Grandpa Smurf's pulling it together. Oh boy, it worked. Oh boy. All right, so here you go. Pull 1, lat 9, which isn't accurate anymore. Upper back 3, bicep 5. That's not accurate. Single arm pull down. That's not accurate anymore. But so here, I haven't changed. If you look this week, 2-minute rest per side. Yeah, this wasn't accurate. This was a week ago. I don't know why this isn't the modern updated one, but to show you how I do it. So you got 2 sets at 8 to 10, 2 sets, 3 sets, it's what it's supposed to be. So 2 sets at 8 to 10, and then 1 set at 3. And then by this point, I've got 3 sets with heavy, and then I do a back off for 3 sets. So I went from 3 sets to 6 sets recently. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I also took some sets off of this. So I took 2 sets off of this, and because it was hurting my shoulder, and then put in 2 sets here. My shoulder started feeling better, went back to 3 sets over here. And then I also take notes. Like this gave me, this one gave me a 4 out of 5 pump, 4 out of 5 mind muscle connection, a 3 out of 5 pump, and rhomboid specific, right? And then this one, I didn't take any notes for. The DY row, 7 to 12, 7, 13. Oh, I did it. It's 4 to 5 MMC, 2 to 5 pump. So this got stale, so I just took it out because I'm only getting a 2.5 pump out of it. This is getting stale because it's only getting 3. This got stale too, and I took this out. So I'm showing you something I'm not doing because this somehow it didn't give me the updated one. Leg curl, this is pretty accurate. All right, so right here, 8 to 10, 145 for 9, 145. This was yesterday. So it was 145 for 9, and then 145 for 7, and then 85 for 12, and then 85 for 11. Now, if we look back earlier, this whole line got erased somehow, but that was there before. But if you notice, the second set was 110 for 8. This third set was 70 for 10, and the 70 for 9. So in the span of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, I've dramatically improved the strength of this movement. Belt squat, I took it down from 6 plates aside to 5 plates aside around here. This was fantastic. 10, 10. This is when I started RAR 3, I think. So 10, 10, 12, 12, went up to 460, got 12, got 11, and then got 8. This was a fail. Then this was a fail. So I added a set here. Could have done another set. That's my note for next week so that I do 4 sets. And then over here, Panada leg press, I took that out this week and moved it. The adductor, this one stayed the same. So it's 120. Let's start in the middle. Let's do it over here. So it's 110 for 11 plus 1. Plus 1 means that I didn't get a complete rep. So I got 11 solid reps, and then I went for failure. I thought I had another one in me, and I didn't. So I failed on the 12th rep. So I'm indicating that. Next week, I went up to 13, then 115 for 14, 115 for 15, 120 for 15, 120 for 12. I don't know what. This was a deload week. I didn't record those. And then this started over with reps in reserve. I think this is like a 3 reps in reserve, 2 reps in reserve, 1 rep in reserve, went up 5 pounds. Boom, boom. Got a 5 out of 5 pump this time, though. Had a 5 out of 5 pump here. So my body's liking this exercise. So we're not going to retire that. We're going to keep that in. Over here, I'm showing you shit that this logbook hasn't been updated visibly to. I'm going to try to show you something that actually hasn't changed at all. All right, here we go. This one hasn't changed. So I got 120 for 10 dead stop, 120 for 11 perfect, 120 for 11.3 perfect. Means I got a third of a rep. 120 for 11.75. I didn't lock it out. Then I just deload, came back, but I put my butt flush against. I didn't have my butt sitting forward a little bit. So I was getting a little bit more shoulder. It was a little bit harder. So I only got 10 that time. Then I moved my butt to the mid seat. I still only got 10. And then the next week I got 11. And then the second set, 6, 7, 6, 6, 6. And then the third set, I was already at 190, 120 for 5, 100 for 8, 120 for 6. So this, I'm getting a little bit weaker on this. Now, how's my pump? My pump's great. 145, the first set. Oh, what are you doing? What does this say, though? Where is it? Where's my, here it is. 145, 4 out of 5 pump after first set. That's really good. Well, what was it the week before? 4 out of 5 after set 1, no pain. All right. And this was a 3 out of 5 pump after set 2. So I'm getting better results with my butt sitting forward because I'm getting a better pump on the first set. Whereas 2 sets in, I only have a 3 out of 5 pump. After the very first set, I've got a fantastic pump. Remember, this is the first exercise of the day. Sitting in the middle of the seat, that means gives me much better SFR because pump is one of the function things that feeds into the S part as SFR. It's stimulus. All right, now I shit the bed this week on this because I was getting 345 for 8, 345 for 9, 345 for 8, 345 for 8, 345 for 5. I'm shitting the bed on this exercise. This needs to be rotated out because I'm going down. Pec deck, I found that I was bending my elbows too much over here. Once I straighten my elbows out, I get a better chest and a better pump. If you notice, I think pump was okay. And then when I straighten my arms out, pump 5 out of 5 pump, 5 out of 5 pump, 5 out of 5 pump, 5 out of 5 pump. So skin tearing. My definition of 5 out of 5 pump is painful. You emotionally wish it wasn't so. You're like, no, stop it. Ow, mommy, help. All right, reverse pec deck. Yeah, this is not really making any progress here. It's not really doing great. This was clearly not a failure. This failed on the third set. These were all fails. Yeah, it's been 4 to 5 for a while, though. This is a 9 out of 10 pump. Rather than putting 4.5, I don't like using decimals and fractions. It's like, no. And then here's some notes. And then this gets even messier. So you get the drift is that, yes, this is a little bit sloppy of a presentation as far as my notes go because the spreadsheet isn't as good. It isn't as fresh as the actual training program. I have to start a new spreadsheet, but I was going to do that next Mesocycle. So it's like, there's a mess. But you can see where things are making progress and some things are not making progress. And that's the best you can do, right? So if you like this, if you like the way that I record, the amount of effort and thought I put into the programming, if you like the way that I do the logbook, let me know in the comments, or you can get a consult and we can talk about a training program for you. The coaching programs have now been reduced in price. Well, they haven't been reduced in price. That rather than them being $3,000 up front for a year, it's now split up so you get monthly payments. That you go through a financing thing. I don't really know because I haven't done it, but I elected to pay your interest for you. So I've rolled that into I get it for 7%, but you would have been charged 30% interest. So I do the interest. If you are approved by this third party, I then pay the interest. I've rolled that into the principal so that it's basically $270 a month rather than $3,000 up front. So if you get approved, you pay interest free because I've already rolled the interest into it, and it's $270 a month, and it works great that way. So I hope you enjoyed this. Get coaching if you want help, because obviously, as you can see, I evaluate that stuff. When stuff starts getting stale, I'm going to rotate it out and rotate in other exercises. Whereas if I was to just write you a one-time program, it takes me 3 or 4 hours. So it's like $400 or $500. And then once things start getting stale, you don't have me analyzing it. But with the coaching program, you have me analyzing it as well as you have the nutrition from Karina is going to analyze biofeedback markers and your progress, whether you're gaining weight or losing weight, and make adjustments to your nutrition. Yes, I can do diets too, but she's really, really good with micros and all that stuff too. And she can treat medical illnesses with food. She's phenomenal. And then also with the coaching program, you get me as your medical doctor. So everything you would get from an HRT clinic like Merrick, I also do that for the coaching clients. So you get like a HRT clinic and programming, and you get the nutrition shit, and you get contest prep if you're doing a contest rather than just lifestyle. It's no additional charge. And then posing and training sessions are separate if you live close enough or you want to do them via Zoom. But I can order your blood work. I can read your blood work. I can prescribe you medication based off the blood work. Then the diet will correct things as well. And then the training programming, as you can see, is super advanced. way of doing it. Check out J3U. They just had a posing module drop. I mean, Luke Miller is a professor at J3U. I'm an affiliate of J3U, code Todd5. That's why I went to Luke for help with my last prep, and that's when he wrote me with this program. And then I've been adapting it since, with bouncing these ideas off of him, make sure that he likes those ideas that I'm making changes to. That's pretty much it, guys. Sorry this video was so long, but hopefully you learned something. And I'm really sorry I didn't have the camera on me and then I'm demonstrating shit, wasting your fucking time. Luckily, I did a pretty good job of remembering everything I demonstrated for you. Anyway, I'm wasting time. The link is in the description box to set up a consult so we can talk about whatever your needs are. Or you can always just pull the trigger and go right to toddleemd.com or use the link to get to toddleemd.com to then sign up for the coaching that way. And the link for J3U is also in my link tree, which is in the description box. It's one link in the description box. It takes you to my link tree. My link tree has everything available. But if you don't know what to do, get the consult because I'd love to hear from you. And that J3U, use code Todd5. Make sure to do that. It's really important. You want your discount and you want to support me, then that's how you do it. You do it by using code Todd5 or by hiring me as your coach directly. And then I will facilitate all of these things for you. All right. Until next time, there's going to be a link around here to sign up. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this shit, turn on the notification bell. And I think right there is where the legs link is going to be. So you get the basic fundamentals of hypertrophy. The first half of the legs video is the fundamentals of hypertrophy. Now, the next episode 8, is going to be reps in reserve or training to failure, which is better. So there's a whole bunch of meta-analysis that got released in the last 2 or 3 years, covering hundreds of studies and aggregating all the data. And I've got some graphs that prove a point from each of them, and it's the same point, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You got to watch that video. All right. Have a great one, guys.